Good morning, everyone. I'll get my microphone up here. I will accept the motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Do we know if Senator Altshuler is here yet? Have you seen her?
You know, we were texting with her this morning about 72.
Okay.
There she is.
Oh, she's coming now. All right.
Great. So
You're,
that would have been me, except we didn't meet at 9 this morning, like I thought we did.
Sometimes we
well,
just gotta go with the flow.
I had a request last week to meet at 10. So
Yes, and
we
that
did.
was me.
I forgot about it too.
It's my
but-
butt.
All right, so we have 3 bills today that we should work on and get out the door. We'll start with Senate Bill 72.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I will move on to pass on Senate Bill 72.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Moved and seconded. And Senator, who wants to move the amendment? Senator Carson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move on
Thank
to
you.
pass on Amendment 0618.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Gendro. I think she was slightly in front of you. It was close.
Oh, good.
Senator Carson, would you like to speak to your amendment?
It's my
Could I actually turn your mic on?
Oh, sorry.
Everybody, if
Thank
you
you.
would. Thank you.
It's my understanding, when we had the public hearing, there was, the parties had a few questions that they needed resolved. And Senator Susie worked with both parties and got the issues resolved, and that's the amendment we have in front of us today.
Awesome. Any further discussion?
I understand the same, Mr. Chair.
Anything further?
Discussed it with the prime. She's good with it. It seems like everybody's good with it. Let's
That's
go.
always a great place to be.
Let's go.
All right, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And Mr. Chair, I move consent.
Oh, we have to vote on
We
it
have to
as
vote
amended
on it.
first. So Senator Carson has moved on to pass as amended. All in favor?
Oh, that's right.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
sorry, forgot.
That's okay. Any
Second.
opposed? We had one. I think it was Senator
Oh, God,
Perkins.
see what
spoke,
happens when we meet at 10 o'clock? We get all confused. We all get confused.
Do we tend to do?
Senator Carson,
All
this is the best, actually.
All right, now,
I love this.
now we have, all right, so
I
Senator
will
Carson
move
has
consent.
moved. And let's vote again to make sure we're right. Senator Carson has moved it. Senator Perkins Cook has
Okay.
seconded.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Senator Carson moves consent. Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was easy. See, I told you we could be out
Okay,
here at
and I will
10:15.
do the,
You want to take it up?
I will
Did
take
you
it.
say that?
I
Like
was
for
joking.
real?
I did. I said we could be out here by 10:15.
All right.
Yeah.
Three
Well,
bills.
that's what's better than you. All right.
Not small
Appreciate it.
bills.
All
We
right.
got 3 bills.
Senate Bill which one's next? 49. Senate Bill 149. Sorry, 6. Yes. believe we did.
149.
Bill 149. So, sorry, I fixed my notebook here.
We have two.
Okay. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So we have 2 amendments that have been presented, and
Thank you very much.
I will,
Thank you.
well, do we have someone to move us to pass first?
Move on to pass.
All right, do we have a second? Okay. Now, we have 2 amendments. In reviewing the 2 of them, I believe they're nearly identical.
Yes.
If you look
There's 2 spots.
at, there's 2 spots, okay.
There's
Section
2
3 I picked up on
There's-
page 2.
Well, first off, before you get to page 2, on your amendment,
Mhm.
0815S,
Yes.
line 26,
Was there another change that I
yeah,
missed?
which is the fine not to exceed $500.
Okay,
In my conversations, since we were leaving OPLC to set the application fee, it would be appropriate to leave OPLC to also set the fine,
okay.
since that's their
I'm-
practice.
I missed that one when I went
Yeah.
through, so I got a
So-
little bit of a headache this morning. I guess I wasn't reading good.
No worries. So that was the first thing.
Yes.
And then on page 2, your line 13 is line 15 on amendment 0828S. And
It looks like you
Oh,
cleaned
no.
that language up just a little bit in
Yeah.
section 3.
actually, no, it's section 3. Where is it on this one?
It's section 3 on both of them. So it'd
Yeah.
be line 12 on mine and line
Yes.
15 on
So
yours.
line
The other one, I
16.
mean, excuse me.
Line 16 on the other amendment, and
Mhm.
yours is line 13, in our conversations was to remove the term, remove of a common virus, including but not limited to SARS-CoV-2, and put in of a communicable virus, except in the case of state or local declaration, because,
I thought that cleaned it up just fine. I didn't have
Yeah.
any objection to that at all.
Yeah. just because what's the next one? Who knows?
What-
No, sorry.
So
Nope.
So I honestly don't have an objection to either of those changes, and I would be fine in not introducing my amendment and using Senator Rosenwald's amendment.
Okay.
So I think that will clean it up and make this a lot easier. So I will actually move I will move amendment 0828S.
Second.
Senator Altshuler seconded. And do we want further discussion on what the amendment does? Or are we everyone comfortable with what the amendment does do?
Well, I think it's, Mr. Chair, it's a reasonable compromise. I think it's always a situation where people walk away. Not everybody gets what they want, but they can live with what we have. And I think that this is an example of that. We listened very, very carefully to the agencies that came in and talked about the exorbitant costs and not being able to have persons to work for them, and I think this is reasonable. I understand that there was proprietary information that we were asking for, and so I think that this is reasonable, and if we need to go back and we need to do some things, there's always next year.
Well, I think it's very important to get the registration portion in. To me, that was the most important part of the bill. And I think that the amendment that we're offering here accomplishes that.
Yes.
And I just wanted to add, I agree with all the statements you guys made. I also think, keeping the patients first, some of the agreements made around staffing are also nice to see, because we want to make sure we're not ultimately leaving the patients, without care at the last minute. So,
Right.
so I appreciate the work on this.
Any further? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? And who wants to move on to pass as amended?
I move on to pass as amended.
Senator Altshuler moves OTPA. Do I have a second?
Second.
Senator Gendro seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Senator Altshuler, would you like to take this one out?
Sure.
All right. You had a good handle on the amendment? So that's 149.
Did we pick someone to take 72 out?
Yeah.
Senator
aye.
Carson.
Great.
And the final one we have is 203, yes. All right, 203 is our last one.
Yes, it is.
And we have two amendments on this one as well. So would somebody like to move OTP so we can move into the amendments?
I will move on to
Thank you.
pass on Senate Bill 203.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded, moved by Senator Perkins Polka, seconded by Senator Gendro. So Senator Avard has come in, the prime bill sponsor, with
You have copies of my amendment.
an amendment,
Okay, I just have other copies.
which I believe you all have 0768S.
Wait,
Which-
no, I have 0213S. Oh, wait, is this it? Nope, I got that one. 02830, yep. Oh, here it is. Got it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
And this bill, this amendment changed the first two sections of the bill and reduced the board down to 5 members. And I know there was extensive conversations among many of the stakeholders that, on this bill, and including a conversation with OPLC as to the structure of how this board could work a bit better. And I have read through, and I think this makeup makes more sense than what the original bill did, so I am willing to support the amendment, and I think it brings it down to a much more workable number, being a volunteer board. Sometimes it's hard to get that many members to come to meetings. I think this is a reasonable compromise.
I agree with you, Chair, and I've spoken to some of the advocates on this amendment, and I think it's in line with some of the other changes that we're hoping to see at OPLC, and so it makes sense to me. And I also had some concerns about, in Senator Avard's earlier amendment, the auditing provisions. So now that those have been removed, I also can support 0768.
So you have another amendment, but I don't think that conflicts with this one, so I think what I'd like to do is take care of this amendment first, and then we'll introduce yours next. Is that fair?
I agree.
Okay.
That works.
I just
for
don't
you.
want to confuse the conversation around
No
the two
worries.
amendments. Any further discussion on amendment 0768?
Yeah, do we know, I have a question. In section 2,
Of the amendment or the
of
original bill?
the, oh, we're talking about the amendment right
Yes,
now. Yeah,
yeah, okay,
so,
just wanna make
no,
sure.
of the amendment.
Yep.
So in section 2, what's the reason for the 3, the 2, and the 1-year terms? Is it,
Because they're staggered.
I believe so, they would be staggered. I think that's correct. Unless I read it wrong. So let me review that again, each person. Sorry.
yeah,
It's actually a good catch, because it says each shall
Yeah.
serve for a 3-year term except, provided
Yeah.
however, that the initial appointments shall be as follows.
each shall serve for a
2
3-year
for a
term and
3-year
until
term.
a successor is appointed and qualified provided. However, the initial
And a 1-year
appointments shall be
Yeah.
as
Yeah, it's
follows.
just a
It
staggered.
started off.
Oh, this is the startup.
Yes.
I see,
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they started
That's,
it to
okay,
make sense.
there we go.
Great.
That's,
All right,
right.
anything further?
Section 2.
Seeing none, all those in favor of amendment 0768S? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and we have another amendment from, would you like to move that amendment?
Sure, I would like to move my amendment 0830S. And I'll speak to my amendment,
Do we
Chair.
have a second?
I will second.
Seconded by Senator Carson. Senator Perkins, go.
Thank you. This is simply the change, I think we heard about this issue at the hearing, which is that tenants associations don't have standing to advocate on behalf of their residents in front of this board, and so this is merely a change to give them that standing. And again, I think if someone volunteers to be part of a tenants association and everybody's paying dues, it makes sense to let our tenants go about their busy days and to let the tenants association speak for them in cases where that makes sense. So I hope you will support it.
Did you by chance discuss this with the stakeholders or with OPLC about adding this language in?
I did not talk to OPLC. I know it was raised in the hearing by some of the residents. I spoke to the Community Loan Fund about it. I did not speak to OPLC about it. But I did mention it last week, and I did not receive any feedback from anybody about it either.
It was, I have notes about that from being brought up in the hearing. That tenants were wanted to be able to have a representative for them because they couldn't necessarily make meeting times.
Any further discussion? I personally don't see a conflict with it, but I.
Yeah. No. The only thing I think, Mr. Chair, would be questioned is, we're establishing the filing fee. And I don't know, because we seem to be going along with OPLC
Doing their thing, yeah.
establishing the fee. I don't know if you folks want to just wordsmith that a little bit and have, or do we want to set that fee because we don't want it to be an outrageous amount? I think $25 is reasonable. I would be okay with leaving it at the $25 because, again, we're just starting this procedure and retooling this whole board, giving it some time, let it get up, let it get running, and as it goes on, if they need to change that, then we can file a piece of legislation and just say, OPLC, you take care of this from now on.
Okay.
I'm not certain, but by adding this fee, will this make it go to finance?
It's a
Doesn't
no,
have
I
a
don't
fiscal
think
No,
so.
because it's
No,
a fee to be paid.
there's no cost to the state. This is
Yeah.
a
Okay,
other
And
type of
That's
I'm not
organization.
changing the fee itself. I mean, that was just what was existing in statute. So the only change I'm making is just to add the tenants association as.
that is true.
I
Okay.
kind of like setting it, Senator Carson, because $25, is not a small amount of money for some people, so.
Right, I know, and my concern is it would get over to OPLC and they might make it $100.
Just because they were doing
Yeah,
something else.
so I think
yeah.
$25 is a reasonable amount.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
not excessive.
Thanks for
So.
raising it.
All right. Further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of amendment 0830S? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. So I'll need a motion of OTPA.
Make that motion.
Senator Gendro,
Second?
seconded by Senator Perkins Colker. Further discussion?
OTPAA.
AA? It's a double A?
Double A. Well, our.
Philip, you're clear on, we've adopted both
Yeah,
amendments,
you'll,
correct? Yep. Okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent?
yeah, I'll move consent.
Second?
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Any volunteers to take this one out?
I'll take this one out.
Senator Perkins Colker, take this one out.
Okay.
Any
Not
further,
bad.
anything further we need to do in exec session?
Did you want to mention the schedule at all while we're on here, or?
We can. We have been assigned, we have how many so far, Philip? 9? We have 9 House bills that have come over already. And I know I kind of promised you a bit of a break, but if there's no huge objection, I'm going to keep the pedal to the metal here and get these moved through because my April schedule is going to be extremely heavy with finance and 3 days a week. So I'd like to get as much done in March as I could, as anything that comes over. Does anybody have any objections with scheduling next week? If I put these bills, I have not looked through the House bills. I don't know that we could get them all in 1 week. I'm not certain of that. I don't know what the content is.
One day.
I'm not sure we
Do
can.
it all in one day. Do it.
Maybe.
We could do it.
The good thing is these bills have already had a public hearing.
They have.
They've already, so it's just a question of. us
My
just
goal
going
would be to
through.
put them all in 1 day, but if I feel that's gonna be more than the committee can handle,
Well, you
I'll
have to
obviously
look
have to
at the
dial it back.
subjects
I
first.
have not done that. I just saw it last night that they came over. So, all right, then, I'll plan on scheduling a hearing for next Wednesday, and we'll put some right through, whatever we can get on there.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. Anything further before we go out of exec?
Oh, sure.
I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second, come out of exec, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And with the committee having no further business, we are going to adjourn at 10:20. I told you we could do
Now,
it in 15.
how would you have felt that if we met at 9 o'clock?
I would have felt fantastic.
Now, this gave you an hour, Mr.
So
Chair,
bummed.
to do some more stuff at home.
I was here at 8:40, so
That's your choice.
that was.
That's your
All right, well, thank you all. I appreciate the committee.